Have you ever stood at the edge of a decision and whispered to yourself, "I'm not sure I'm good enough"? We all have, but here's the truth. Belief isn't something you find, it's something you build, and when you combine belief with consistency, you become unstoppable. Today, I want to share 5 powerful truths that will help you not only believe in yourself, but also stay the course, even when the road gets steep. Let's begin. We are conditioned to chase certainty, to seek permission, to wait for validation before we act. It's as if we've been taught that only after someone else believes in us, only after the results show up, only after the path is clear, can we allow ourselves to begin. But belief, real belief, doesn't work like that. It doesn't wait for data. It doesn't need permission. It begins when we decide, not when we're certain, but precisely when we're not. Think of J.K. Rowling. A woman sitting in a small apartment, raising a child alone, rejected again and again by people who were supposed to recognize talent. She had no contracts, no audience, no evidence that her words mattered. 12 times she heard no. 12 times the world told her to stop. But she made a choice to believe in the magic of her story before anyone else did. That choice wasn't logical. It wasn't comfortable. But it was powerful, because belief is always born in discomfort. That's where courage lies. We don't need to be heroes to start. We just need to believe we are worthy to begin. You won't always see the full staircase. You may not even see the first step clearly. But that's the moment when belief matters most. Because belief isn't something you inherit or stumble into. It's something you create. It's a voice inside that says, "I may not have all the answers, but I'm still going." And often, that voice whispers not shouts, but it's enough. Too many people wait for applause to start running their race, but belief isn't built from the outside in, it's forged from the inside out. And you don't need a stage to choose it, you don't need a spotlight or a title. What you need is a moment of truth, the kind that happens in quiet rooms when no one's watching. The kind where you look in the mirror and say, "I am enough to try." What separates the people who build something meaningful from those who don't isn't talent or luck or resources. It's the decision to begin before the proof shows up, to stand in uncertainty and say, "This matters to me, I believe it's possible." That's the kind of belief that builds momentum, that invites others to follow, because people don't follow perfection, they follow passion. They follow someone who believes in something deeply enough to keep showing up, even when no one else claps. So the question isn't, do you have enough proof to believe in yourself? The question is, are you willing to make the choice in the absence of proof to start anyway? That's where every great story begins. Not at the finish line, but at the moment someone said, "I'm going," not because it's guaranteed, but because I believe it matters. Confidence is earned in silence. It's not the roar of the crowd that builds it. It's the quiet moments no one sees. The world loves to cheer for outcomes, the trophy, the title, the achievement, but the truth is, confidence isn't found in those mountaintop moments. It's formed far below the surface, in the stillness, in the struggle, in the decision to keep going when no one is watching. Picture the young athlete who sets an alarm for 4:45 a.m., slipping out into the cold morning air while the rest of the world sleeps warm. No camera follows her, no fans chant her name, she trains anyway, or the single mother juggling night shifts, side hustles, and a stubborn dream of building her own business. Her confidence isn't a product of success, it's the outcome of resilience. She earns it every time she chooses purpose over comfort, persistence over rest. These people don't wait for inspiration. They act without recognition, and that's where their confidence is born. We live in a culture that tells us to fake it till you make it, to smile wider, speak louder, and pretend we know more than we do. But faking it is fragile. Confidence that lasts doesn't come from performance. It comes from proof. It comes from the receipts of the work you did in silence. When you push through the reps with no applause, when you keep writing despite the rejection letters, when you dare to start over after failing again, that's when something real starts to build inside of you. Not ego, not arrogance, but quiet, unshakable belief. There's something powerful about the grind no one else knows about, it's yours. You don't need to post about it. You don't need to prove it. The late nights, the lonely mornings, the routines that bore others but refine you, that's where confidence is forged. It's a slow fire. It doesn't roar, it smolders, and the longer you stay in it, the stronger it makes you. Most people want the outcome, not the process, but confidence doesn't come from what you achieve. It comes from knowing what you've endured. You carry that with you, not in your words, but in your presence. People will feel it before you say a word, because confidence doesn't demand attention. It radiates it. And here's the part that no one tells you. You don't build confidence by proving others wrong. You build it by proving yourself right, one decision, one sacrifice, one quiet victory at a time. You build it in silence, and one day the world may clap for you, may crown you, may call you an overnight success, but you'll know better. You'll know you earned it long before they saw it. We live in a world obsessed with talent. We cheer for the prodigies, the naturals, the ones who make things look effortless. We see someone excel and say, they're just gifted. But what if I told you talent is wildly overrated? What if the real edge, the quiet, relentless force behind greatness isn't talent at all? It's consistency, and consistency beats talent every time. Talent might get you noticed. It might win you applause in the short term, but without discipline, talent is like a sports car with no gas. It looks impressive, but it's going nowhere. Consistency, on the other hand, may not catch the spotlight at first. It's not glamorous. It's not loud, but it's powerful. It builds momentum. It earns trust. And trust, over time, becomes influence. There's a story I love about a writer named James Clear. He wasn't a celebrity. He didn't have a massive following when he started. He was just a guy who committed to writing every single week, no matter what. No excuses. He didn't wait for inspiration. He didn't wait to feel motivated. He showed up. Week after week, word after word, he laid bricks, not to build a wall, but to build a foundation. And slowly, something remarkable happened. People started paying attention. They trusted him not because he was loud, but because he was there always. That trust turned into loyalty, and that loyalty built a movement. We often talk about overnight success. But when you dig deeper, you'll always find years of quiet effort buried beneath the surface. Success isn't lightning striking. It's the fire you feed one spark at a time, day after day. Consistency doesn't scream, it whispers. But those whispers compound. The truth is, transformation doesn't begin in moments of excitement or brilliance. It begins in the quiet moments when nobody's watching, when it's boring, when you're tired. When you're doubting yourself, that's where character is forged. That's where real change begins. You become the person you admire by doing the things they did long before anyone cared. Every small action, every effort repeated without applause, is a vote for the person you want to become. And those votes, they matter, they add up, they shift your identity. Not overnight, but over time. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems, and systems are built by showing up. So if you're waiting for the perfect moment, the burst of talent, the flash of genius, it might never come, but what will come is another day, another opportunity to show up. And when you do over and over again, that's when the magic happens. Not because you're the most talented, but because you refused to quit, because you stayed, because you believed. We live in a world obsessed with measuring up likes, followers, titles, achievements. It's a constant comparison game. But here's the truth. Comparison is a thief. It sneaks in quietly, looks around at what others have built, and whispers in your ear, "You're not enough." And the moment we listen, we begin to lose. Not because we're failing, but because we've stopped focusing on our own path. We start chasing someone else's finish line and forget that our greatest competition has always been the person we were yesterday. You don't have to be the best. You just have to be better than who you were the day before. That's it. That's the game. It's not about beating the person next to you. It's about honoring your own growth. Too often, we look outward for validation, for benchmarks, for proof that we're making it. But real progress is an inward journey. It's not flashy, it's not always visible. It's waking up and choosing to try again. It's pushing a little further. It's failing and still showing up. I once spoke with a teacher who shared a story that will stay with me forever. She said her proudest student wasn't the one who graduated with honors. It was a boy who had been failing math for years. No one expected much from him, but something shifted. Maybe it was encouragement. Maybe it was him deciding to believe in himself for the first time. He clawed his way from an F to a C, just a C, but that grade wasn't just a letter. It was a battle scar. He fought for that C. She said with tears in her eyes, and he started to believe in his brain. That's the power of small steps. That's the victory we often overlook. Because our culture is addicted to extremes. Top 1%, biggest wins, best of the best. But what about the quiet battles people fight behind the scenes? What about the moments no one sees? When you choose growth over comfort, when you make the call you were scared to make, when you take that first walk after months of feeling stuck. Progress is personal. It looks different for everyone, and that's what makes it so powerful. It's not a race against others. It's a commitment to becoming more of yourself. So instead of asking, "Am I as good as them?" start asking, "Am I better than I was?" And if the answer is yes, even a little, then you are already winning. You don't need to sprint. You don't need to shine brighter than anyone else. You just need to move forward inch by inch, step by step. Because over time, those steps become strides, and those strides become change. And that change becomes the story of someone who didn't chase the world. They chose to grow. Your story isn't over yet, and it never was supposed to be. The setbacks you've faced, the mistakes you've made, the moments where the world felt like it was closing in on you, they weren't the end. They were chapters and not the final ones. You see, we're conditioned to believe that failure is the enemy, that it marks the stopping point, the full stop at the end of the sentence, but that's not true. Failure is feedback. It's not telling you no. It's telling you not this way. It's the world showing you where to adjust, where to grow, and where your true strength is waiting to be discovered. Fear, too, is misunderstood. We often think of it as a signal to retreat. But fear is simply the body's way of saying, something meaningful is about to happen. It's excitement dressed up in nerves. And when you begin to feel it not as a warning, but as a welcome sign that you're on the edge of something big, that's when you start to shift. That's when you begin to see that the obstacles in front of you are not there to stop you. They're there to show you how badly you want it. Take Colonel Sanders. He was 62 when he finally found the road that led to the global success of KFC. But that road was paved with failures, job losses, rejections, closed doors. And yet, something inside him whispered, "You're not done yet." He listened, and that made all the difference, because it's not about how many times you fall, it's about the one time you choose to get back up with more clarity, more resolve, and more heart than ever before. You are not your age. You are not your worst moment. You are not defined by how many times you've been told you're not good enough. You are defined by the voice inside you that says, "There's more in me." The question isn't whether you've failed. It's whether you'll keep going. Whether you'll honor the whisper inside you that dares to hope, even when logic says it shouldn't. And when you do, when you stay in the game, keep showing up, keep believing something incredible happens. That belief becomes magnetic. It pulls people toward you, the kind of people who believe in potential, in purpose, in perseverance. It pulls in ideas, unexpected opportunities, a momentum that you couldn't force if you tried. Because the world moves for those who move with courage. The world opens up to those who refuse to give up on themselves. So if today you're standing in a place that feels stuck, remember, this is not the end. This is the part where it gets good. Your story is still being written, and the pen is in your hands. So today, make the choice not to be perfect, not to be the best, but to believe, to show up, to keep going. Because the world doesn't need more perfect people. It needs real ones brave enough to believe and bold enough to stay consistent. Believe, begin, become, thank you.